Over the past few years, we've seen failure after failure when it comes to Disney across nearly every aspect of this company, whether it's box office, whether it's streaming failures, or whether it's losing a significant portion of the market share when it comes to their theme parks. But one area you can look at and definitively say this has been a nightmare for them is absolutely animation. Whether it's at Pixar or whether it's at Walt Disney Animation Studios, the past couple years, we've seen flop after flop. A business, a company that was known for being family friendly and that built this reputation on the back of animated classics have completely lost their way. Families no longer trust Disney and they're putting out a shit product. As a result, we've seen failure after failure. And now, despite Disney already laying off thousands of people last year. Remember when they came out last year and said it's going to be rough, but we got to get some layoffs to move forward, including laying off people specifically from Pixar, the biggest layoffs they'd ever seen? Well, apparently they are not done yet. Pixar facing layoffs amid Disney struggles. And no, this is not an article from 9 or 10 months ago when they were coming out with the same things. This is from today because the news broke in the past 12 hours or so that this was happening. That despite all the layoffs, despite saying that was it, there weren't going to be any more, Disney's in worse shape than they thought. And they're looking at potentially cutting 20% of the workforce when it comes to Pixar. Significant layoffs to hit Pixar in 2024, according to a report. On the same day that Elemental received 6 Annie Award nominations, TechCrunch reported that Disney-owned Pixar would be cutting a significant number of jobs in 2024. Sources told TechCrunch that the layoffs could be as high as 20% of the studio's 1,300-person workforce. So you're talking about over 250 people right there. 20% of the workforce is a massive shakeup, but something has to happen, right? I know everybody tried to pretend, the mainstream media tried to gaslight everybody into thinking that Elemental was a success. It was not. It lost nearly $100 million for Disney at the box office. Now, of course, Wish came out later that year. That's not Pixar. That's Walt Disney Animation Studios. Maybe we'll see even more layoffs coming for them as well. But that lost over $200 million for them. That is a complete and total nightmare. We know about the Lightyear flop. We know about the failures we saw in the midst of the pandemic. It's been miserable for Pixar. Now, there are some people out there that dispute that number, that 20% number. California-based Pixar confirmed TechCrunch report that layoffs will happen at some point, but disputed the publication's number. A subsequent story this evening in Reuters quoted a source familiar with the situation who said it was not yet determined how many people would be let go, nor was it known when they would be laid off. The Reuters source, who took a studio line and is likely a studio spokesperson, also said the layoffs would not impact Pixar's theatrical output. Pixar did not immediately respond. They've reliably learned they intend to keep staffing above 1,000 people, and that might mean the layoffs wouldn't reach 20% of the studio. Well, if you do that math, you could still do 20% of the studio while keeping staffing above 1,000. 20% of 1,300 is 260, so it's pretty easy math to do that. You could get both of those things. This is just one more indication that Disney is not healthy, despite them trying to put on a good front and say, no, everything's fine. That is not fine. After firing thousands of people, over 7,000 people in their layoffs, more than they actually expected to last year. Already, we're 2 weeks into 2024, and they're already going to do big, major layoffs at Pixar, the biggest layoffs we've ever seen. Of course, they're saying, well, you know, we had to hire so many people to keep up with production on Disney Plus, so now we're going to fire those people now that we're giving up and we're trying to cut costs all over for streaming so we can desperately stop losing money on streaming and make up our promise to be profitable by 2024. Well, if you're not actually making any money on streaming, I guess the only way to do that is to try to cut your costs, which is what they're attempting to do with this move. Disney, a company that really, over the last several decades, has been built on the back of family animated movies, is struggling in that very area. Families have walked away from Disney. It's why Pixar is struggling, and in all likelihood, it's why they're being forced to fire hundreds of people despite completing layoffs not that long ago. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.